Hey, what's going on, guys? So today I'm talking about a website called Knafsale. All right, so it's KNAFSALE.com. All right, Knaf is kind of a joking way of saying knife. Hey, want to look at my Knaf? You know, that's been going around the community for a while. In fact, I think it might even be a knife brand now. I saw that recently. But anyway, I've had a lot of people ask me where they can sell their knives. I've had that question for 15 years. Ever since I've started making videos on knives and I talk about buying and selling and trading knives, naturally people ask me, well, where do you sell them? Well, I've always sold them online. That's really the easiest way. I don't go to like swap meets or knife and gun shows and stuff and sell a lot of stuff in person. It's just inconvenient. So way back in the day, I used to sell stuff on the forums. It was knifeforums.com and bladeforums.com. And so as time went on, of course, different social media platforms popped up like Twitter and YouTube and Facebook and, you know, Instagram, which is also Facebook, right? And all these different places and Reddit. And anywhere where people congregate and talk about something, especially hobby-based things, they're buying, they're selling, and they're trading. So there's always that stuff going on social media like that. But sometimes it's hard. If you're just a random person, you happen to watch some videos and, you know, you got this knife and then you didn't like it, you don't really know where to sell it. Not everyone has like a knife shop by them that's going to buy stuff, or the availability to go to like a knife and gun show or something and be able to sell it in person. So a lot of times you're forced to sell things online. Now, of course, eBay is always an option, but a lot of people don't like all the extra hassle and fees that are involved with eBay. That's why, generally speaking, they do sell it, you know, peer-to-peer on social media. But back in, I want to say, August, Knafsale launched and is now offering a place to sell your stuff online. So it is pretty new, but it is slowly growing. In a second here, we'll look at how many products are for sale right now. But they do obviously get a little commission, okay? So if you're going to sell on this website, you are giving them a little piece of it. The seller fee is 7.5% of the sale and the shipping total. So your net payout is 92.5%. All right, so just understand that right off the bat. If you don't mind paying someone else to help you sell it, that's the whole point. That's why they're a business, is to make a little bit of money. But you are getting 92.5% of whatever you're charging for that knife. What is kind of cool, there's some things I like about the site, things I don't like about the site. I actually was approached by the owner. He asked me if I wanted to check it out. And I agreed that I would check it out, and I'd make this promotional video talking about it a little bit. But part of my stipulation was I wanted to actually use it. I wanted to be a user. I wanted to have a full understanding of the experience. So I've listed things on here, I've sold things on here, and I kind of know the process a little bit more. So I'm gonna go through the process real quick just to give you an example of selling a knife, all right? So first, obviously, you go to the website, knafsale.com, right? And right on top here, you have all these options: buy, sell, win, repeat. So what we're going to do here, actually, let's go to buy first just to see some stuff that's available on here. All right, so you get a thumbnail or a picture of the item, some basic information. Here's someone selling a Medford M48 for 420 bucks. You do have the option to see the condition here, BNIB, which is brand new in box. It does show the seller. So this particular knife is being sold by Knafsale Official. So this is the owner of the site. As we scroll down, you'll see, you know, different backgrounds. Generally, you'll see, you know, different sellers. So let's see. This one here is a Buck 120 General Pro fixed blade for 200 bucks. This is being sold by this seller, Lions EDC, and so forth. All right. So as we scroll down, all right, you can see there's a ton of different stuff, folders and fixed blades. All right. Right now, there is 64 items for sale. Like I said, it's a very new website, so it's going to take a little bit of time to grow that, as well as grow an audience of people using it. All right, if you go to the second page, I do still have some stuff, like these two are my posts. I still have a vintage Spyderco Dragonfly. This is the first generation, so the first time they came out with the Dragonfly back in 1994 for 50 bucks, which I think is a great price. That's why I'm listening for that. You guys know I always give a deal. And I also have a Navigator 2, which I did a video on. That's 75 bucks. All right, so you can obviously recognize my table there. But yeah, I mean, as certain people take certain pictures, as you're scrolling through, you might, you know, get a feel for, okay, it's that seller or this seller or whatever. So let's go ahead and see what it would be like to sell. If you want to list on here, you would just create a profile, log in, click on the sell page. All right, and I'm just going to go through all the prompts. It's really easy. All right, so I adjusted my camera here so you can see a little bit better. All right, I am just literally filming my screen, which is very amateur, but I wanted to show you kind of the process here instead of literally just talk about it and show my hands or something. So anyway, I'm going to relist the Spyderco Pride, which I already sold. All right, but let's use that as an example here. All right, so Spyderco Pride, we have a title, description, cool knife. You know, obviously you'd put the appropriate details. One thing I didn't like about this is that for the watch, there was a lot of like specs, you know, for the watch, and it ended up being too long. I talked to the owner about that, and he said he's going, I mean, he's obviously has to, this is kind of like a, it's officially launched, but it's still in kind of beta mode. He's still looking for feedback, things he can improve. So there are a couple things that I did want to see changed personally, just as a seller. So this section about the description, I think there should be more available space in the future. It'll allow that to be expanded so you can put a lot more information there if necessary. All right, then we do the drop-down menu for condition. So we have BNIB, which is brand new in box, LNIB. This is all like knife lingo. If you haven't really been in the business of buy, sell, and trade, some of these things you just have to learn over time, but that's brand new in box, like new in box. Now, what's the difference? Well, brand new in box is literally you bought it and it's mint condition. The box is in great shape. The knife is in great shape. Like new in box, maybe there's like a light scratch somewhere on the knife or something. Obviously, you'd put that in the details here in the description, but it's not quite mint condition. That's what LNIB is. Then excellent, then good, then fair, then user. All right. So plenty of options there for condition. Obviously, well, I'm going to have to select one. Let's just say it's, well, it was fair. All right, price, I want to say, here's my old ones. I want to say I listed it at 75. All right, quantity 1. Obviously, at multiples, you can certainly do that. Now, the shipping details, this is kind of important because I was offering free shipping, which you have the option here. So you click this, you can offer free domestic shipping. When I buy, sell, and trade, or not when I buy and trade, but when I sell something, I always include shipping in the price for people, but it is a cost for me. So a lot of times I am pricing my item because of that. So if I'm selling something for 50 bucks, I'm not getting 50 bucks. You know, if it fits in a small box, I'm paying anywhere from 10 to 12 bucks for USPS priority mail shipping with insurance. So that's always a cut on my end. You don't have to do this, but it is an option to offer free domestic or free international or both. But either way, it is important to put the exact dimensions of the package because shipping is part of the selling. So when your item sells, someone buys it, the shipping comes out of the purchase price, okay? So it's automatically done for you, and you just select what shipping carrier or whatever, and then through the website, it gives you the label so you can print it at home and slap it on the package and just drop it off at the post office, which is fantastic. Or, you know, UPS or FedEx or whatever the option you choose. So it's nice that the website does that for you. All right, before we get any further, I do want to mention that they do have restrictions, okay? And again, this is just some legal stuff so that, you know, they can't obviously know every single seller and where they're shipping things and all the laws and stuff. So just to play it safe, they do restrict automatic knives, butterfly knives, dual action knives, gravity knives, out the front knives, paratrooper knives, push knives, switchblade knives, even though switchblade is automatic, right? Sword canes, spring assist knives where there is no manual movement by the thumb stud or screw clearly visible on the blade, hidden or disguised knives such as writing pen knives or belt buckle knives. All right, so I know that throws a lot of stuff off the list there, but it is important to note that they do have their own restrictions here. So if you just have some manual folders or fixed blades or, you know, anything that's not on that list, then you're good to go. All right, so when we're done here, you go to next step. All right, and now it's going to be the filter section. Now this is something I also talked about because I feel like there needs to be more options within the filters. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So right now we're in knives, the condition's fair. There's the prices from the previous page, so you can see it's kind of ghosted gray. Now we're going to select some other stuff. Country of origin. USA, China, Germany, Italy, Taiwan, other. All right, in the case of the Pride, I want to say that's made in Japan. So that would be other. But I think Japan should be listed on here, as well as some other countries that are more commonplace for knife production. You know what I'm saying? So knife category, in this case we have a folding knife. So custom, fixed blade, folding, tactical, traditional, other, or modern traditional. Click folding. Knife brand. He has a fair amount of brands on here, but there's a lot of knife brands, you know what I'm saying? So there's certain ones I'd like to see more of, but I'm sure with time those will be added. So we'll click Spyderco. Lock type, same thing. There's a million lock types for knives. In this particular case, there is no lock, so it would just be slip joint, all right? Deployment method, flipper, none, button manual, blade hole, front flipper, nail nick, other, fuller, and thumb stud / disc. Obviously, in this case, we have a blade hole, all right? Handle material, in this case, it's aluminum, which they do have listed here. But again, I'd like to just see a little more options in the future because there's just so many different options for different handle materials. All right, blade length. In this case, I think it's 2 to 3. All right, that's fine. And blade steel type. There's a bunch of blade steels, as you guys know. So even though this list looks pretty big, it's not big enough. There's so many more, especially if people sell knives, they're not going to find it in here. Obviously, these filters don't really make a difference yet. When there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different knives listed on here, then it's when the filters are really going to matter. As of right now, you can scroll through and see everything that's there, but eventually you're going to need filters. So I want to say, I don't think it's VG10. What is it? I don't know, AUS 6 maybe? In this case, I'm just going to go other. All right, next step. Now the images, all right? So I'm going to put an image in here. All right, so I dragged 2 images on here just to give you an example. But there's 2 parts to this that I like to see change. Number 1, there's a maximum of 6 images per listing. I'd like to see that be at least double. Just because there's so many details you can show in a knife, especially if it's used, someone might want to focus on damage. They might want one picture of the pocket clip, another picture of a scratch on the blade, another picture of maybe some surface rust in the pivot, or who knows what, right? So the more the merrier as far as pictures. I did, again, talk to the owner, and he said he's going to try to expand that for the future. Also, you're forced, as of right now anyway, to crop the picture. So when posting pictures on here, my original pictures for this Spyderco Pride, they were too close, okay? So the knife was pretty much the whole picture, and you're only limited to this box or smaller. All right, so you can crop the picture so it's, you know, it's tighter on the image. You don't need to see all this table. You just want to see the knife, right? So you want to make it as small as possible and still show all the knife. But like I said, if you have a closer picture, it's impossible to actually crop. You're not going to be able to have the whole knife, you know, in the picture. So that's something that he is certainly working on to improve the website. But there you go. So crop your pictures. All right, you saved the cropped images. Then you could change the order. So if you whatever's all the way to the left is what your initial thumbnail is when you're selling it. So in this case, I want to show it open. So that'll be my first picture. And then of course you could have another 5 pictures as of right now. Go to the next step. This is where you're basically just looking over, make sure everything's good. Spyderco Pride, cool knife, free domestic shipping, fair condition, ships within the U.S. Seller does not accept returns. $75. There's the picture. There's the other picture. It's from me. And there's all the details that we picked through the filters. And that's pretty much it. So if I want to list it, I hit looks good, sell it. Now, unfortunately, there's no buy button because I'm the seller and I'm logged in as a seller. So I can't buy my own stuff. But obviously, there's these other things you could see. If I go to buy now, you hit buy now or add to cart, whatever, and proceed like any other website. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how to use Knafs sale. I do like the site. I think, again, it's another option. The more options you have to sell stuff, the better. As of right now, obviously, it's limited because there's not as many people looking at it as there will be in the future. Obviously, I like to see it grow. It's partly why I'm making this video. But yeah, people always ask me, I mean, eBay, you're paying a lot of fees. It is a hassle. There's a ton of people looking, which is nice. But I just know at least a handful of people that just will not sell on eBay because it's just so, it's so complex and it's annoying to them. This is a lot easier. Plus, it's specific to knives. Obvious downside is the restrictions. I know a lot of people like to sell, automatics and OTFs and Balisongs and stuff like that. So it's not going to be the place for those particular knives, but if you have other knives, it's definitely worth taking a shot at. Now, something else to talk about real quick is how the payment system works. You do have to, obviously, list some kind of a bank account to accept and receive the payments from these sales. It was a really simple process. I actually opened another bank account up just for this because you guys know I'm big into bank accounts. Why not have a million of them, right? As long as there's no like actual monthly fee or anything, I don't mind having bank accounts because it allows me to just bank hop and go wherever I want whenever I need something. But yeah, it was no big deal to have a specific bank account just for this, so that when I get all my payments, it goes right to that account. It's also an easier way for me to keep track of those sales. But as far as payment, once you sell something, let's say someone just bought this, you went to the website, bought this knife, or if someone watches this video happens to buy one of my other knives, they click buy it now, they pay for it or whatever. What will happen is I'll get an email saying, hey, one of your items sold. I go back to this website. Then I'll be provided with my own shipping label for that package. I'll print out the shipping label, and now there's a tracking number. So that tracking number is tied to this product, okay? So the company knows when it's first scanned, when I drop it off. The company knows when it gets delivered. And of course, when everything's confirmed, that's when I get sent my payment, all right? They take their little cut, I get the rest of it, and it's a done deal. It's over with. So like I said, everything is pretty straightforward, and I've liked the experience so far. As I've mentioned before, some of the things I'd like to see change to make it easier for selling. And in the future, I mean, I'm going to scan this stuff and see what's available and maybe have that experience as a buyer. Just depends. As of right now, I don't see anything on the site that I'm particularly looking for, but there is some cool stuff. My focus is just on, as far as knives go right now, some very specific things. So I happen to not see anything on the site yet. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how Knafs sale works. So if you guys are interested, it's worth checking out. I'll put a link down in the description box. Of course, if you guys end up using the site to buy or sell stuff, please come back, in the future to this video, comment down below, let people know your experiences, things you like, things you don't like, so other people can read about it and understand if it's something that would be good for them. But like I said, I always like options. Options are good. This is just another place that I can list things for sale. I'm mostly trading, as you guys know. I don't do a whole lot of buying or selling. I trade a ton. But occasionally, I need to raise money for a bill, or if I want something specifically and I don't have the money for it, that's when I'll just be forced to sell things for cash and in place buy more knives and gear, So anyway, that's it for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Take care.